Game week 30 is done. We're just going to have a quick look at Chelsea versus Tottenham and then straight on to our teams for game week 31. Right, guys, welcome back. This is the Above Average FPL podcast. My name's Adam, and as always, joined by Baker. Good afternoon, mate. How's things?
Afternoon. Yeah, short turnaround. Back we go.
Short turnaround. Recording at about 1 o'clock on Friday, so hopefully this will be out either just after 2 or around about 5 p.m. But yeah, deadline's at 11 o'clock tomorrow, so quick turnaround. Have a quick look at yesterday's game, straight into what we need to look at for game week 31. And then try and get out of here, basically. And like while we're chatting, Pep's talking about KDB right this second. He's a bit late, but if we get updates as we're going through, then we'll obviously try and incorporate that as much as possible. Basically, should we start with
us?
Yeah, let's just do a quick refresher. Last week, how we got on. Obviously, both of us were on Wildcard. Took slightly different approaches in some places. So
yeah. It's a weird one, isn't it? Like, so I didn't gain out of wildcarding because I think I got exactly the same amount of returns if I hadn't wildcard as if I would. You know, is I haven't worked out the points, but the Clivert one was too much. Once we thought Clivert wasn't be there, I was down to no subs on my bench because I'd have had Clivert and Wood. I would have had Mikolenko on the bench as well. That would have been all I had left. Colwill would have come in for Clivert. Obviously, he gets a clean. So,
I mean, I tried on that. To be fair,
you know, you said I should play Colwell over Anthony Robinson.
I did.
No, but to be fair, I would have sold Anthony Robinson though. So if I hadn't a wild card, I'd have sold Robinson for Minoz. So
yeah, you'd have played Minoz over Colwell,
and you'd have played Minoz. So if I'd used my transfer to Minoz, I'd still have got Colwell off the bench. I'd have had Boomo, and I'd have had Evan Nilsson returns. And I'd had Milenkovic. So I'd have had 2 cleans and 2 goals. As it was, I got a goal from Saka, a goal from Marmoush, 2 goals. I got an assist from Murphy, and I got a clean from Vardio. So I had 4 players return in my wild card, and I had 4 players return in my non-wild card. So I can work that out that I didn't lose. I didn't gain off of the wild card. And obviously, if I had the chance to do it again, would I have Foden in my team? No. Would I have Gabriel in my team? No. But like, that's going to be the same any week. Do you know what I mean? Your wild card is a week's information is always good. So those that are wild card in this week, well, next week we've got European games. And we saw the damage that FA Cup's done and all that stuff. Like, these things can happen all the time. Like, I do think there's a lot that we go with 31 wildcard that are like, yes, I knew it. I knew this sort of thing might happen. And you'll be like, well, would you say the same if it happened again this weekend?
Yeah. Well, the only person that will is Andy Martin.
Of course they will.
But
of course they will. But there's hindsight, you know, merchants for a living. That's FPL, baby.
That's FPL, baby. Yeah, it is. So I'm pretty similar to you. I mean, you say you've got, the differentials there are obviously Murphy. I've got Doku for some reason. I've got Rodgers in there in prep.
Stuck in your bench. Annoying.
Yeah, stuck in my bench at the moment. So, yeah, very quick run through for audio. So, Raya 2, Gabriel obviously off early injured. Gvardiol clean, Munoz 2, Doku 3. Got that clean sheet point. That was so important. Salah 3, Sarr 2, Saka 8, Isak 8, Mateta 1, and then Marmoush captain, which was massive. So happy about that.
Yeah. So the difference between me and you is you capped Marmoush, so you got extra points for me over capping Salah, and I got a little bit more for Murphy over Doku.
Yeah, that's literally it. Our teams are pretty similar. And we'll talk about where we're going to go with our teams after we've had a quick look at Spurs Chelsea and then a quick look at RobT's graphics and hopefully trying to keep this one within half an hour. Fingers crossed. We never do, but we are kind of hard stopped by work over our lunch break.
Yeah.
So let's get into just quickly to say, if you are watching back, please do drop a like on the video. If you enjoy the content, make sure you hit subscribe. And shout out to all of our patrons, patreon.com/aboveaveragefpl. You can click on the link in the description, or there's a QR code on screen, and that will take you directly there. You can become a free member, and Baker's done a bunch of fantastic videos this week and continuing to do videos every week, which is all you need to do is pop your email address in there and you'll get a notification to say that a new video has been uploaded. Or if you want to come and join us for the chat and the competitions and all that good stuff, then join us over on patreon.com/above average FPL, and that's the paid membership, and that is with Discord included, and it's all kind of in there, basically. Always
weird doing game week reviews without you, mate.
Sorry?
Weird. It's weird doing game week reviews without you this week. It's odd. I was like,
somebody commented.
It's really quick. It's really quick when we're not chatting. It's not fun, but it's really quick.
We're just not going back and forth. There was a comment that was like, it's like Ant without deck, and I was like, which one am I in this conversation? But yeah, I mean, like, they were clearly well received. It's excellent. I was
good to get them out. Pleased with the feedback with it, but it is the thing is on when it's during the week is it's real data heavy, isn't it? It's just I'm gonna look at the data, this is what it tells me. Off we go.
Yeah,
but
and it's tough because we don't want to be doing exactly. Well, we're here on a Friday, right? And we don't really want to be going through 10 games and then going through teams when in less than 12 hours it's all dead. It's like it's like dead info. So let's. The final shout out, of course, Crypto Block Dan and Never Say Die Bourbon. So thank you to you guys for supporting us on this journey as always, and Alex Follow for his graphics. Give a shout out to Alex for his fantastic thumbnails. Misery yesterday. Spurs won. I wish Spurs won. Chelsea won. Spurs 0. The first half was pretty miserable all round. I think a lot of horseshoe football going on. I think a lot of people would have not bothered to watch the second half. They watched the first half. Well, ridiculously, like the first 6 minutes was chaos. And that was like it like set the scene for what was going to happen, and then it was full of carnage, but absolutely zero quality on both sides.
And at some point, each team decided, I'm going to let you other team have the ball for ages. There was a period where we had the ball. Literally, I reckon we had the ball for about 4 minutes. Yeah, no chances. Didn't go into the penalty box at any point. Just kept
full horseshoe stuff, like in and out, round and round.
And then Tottenham just allowed Chelsea to have the wide areas and cross as often as they wanted, knowing that there's only kind of one guy in there that's going to head it out, and then just get rid of it. Like it was like allow Chelsea to cross at will. That was clearly the game plan, wasn't it? Is just allow them to cross at will and say you won't win a header, which worked until the first time that Cole Palmer crossed the ball from the left side anyway, and bang, there's a goal. We're
so weak at the back post. Like, it doesn't matter which side we are. Like, we're weak at the back post. As long as you beat that second centre back, like, there's always a gap. Whether it's between Porro and Romero, or whether it's between Van der Ven and Udogie or Spence or whoever it is, and even more so when we were obviously like down to centre backs that weren't first choice. So it was always a good tactic to try and do that. And it came up in our chat. It was like, how the fuck did Enzo Fernandez, smallest guy on the pitch? Like, he didn't even jump. He just ran onto it. So that's how he wins the header. Like, he's just in the gap.
It was the first natural cross, I think, of the game.
Yeah.
Like, so in the first half, all of the crosses came from the right side, and they were all either Neto or Palmer with their left foot putting the ball. And it's really easy. And like an in-swinging corner has to go through players in order to get to the person in the back post. It's almost impossible. Yeah. But with as soon as you go to the natural side, you can stand it up so much better.
And you start it away from the players, right? You start it away behind them in the wrong place.
Literally. Like, and this is me and you talking of like football basics. Yeah. Like, we're not fucking analysts, mate. Like, no. And you can just see it, can't you? First cross at the second half comes from the natural side. Thanks very much, goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so stupid. It's so basic.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think there's not much else to say here, because at the moment we're not really looking at Spurs or Chelsea players other than those.
What do you think
Palmer.
about Nico Jackson though? Like so, Nico Jackson's definitely a difference in it. It's such a different type of player to Nkunku, and a guy that's just direct, gets behind. And I look at it and I think he could have easily scored 3 or 4, and he walks away with 1 point. And I'm like, yeah, Nico Jackson does that quite often. I just can never make my mind up whether he's an asset or not.
It's always difficult when it's when these guys are playing against a team where you want to try and sort of limit the amount of weight you want to put on it, right? When you're playing Spurs, then that's obviously a good fixture for a striker. And then as they come up against more difficult teams in the next few weeks, then I'm saying that while desperately scrambling to try and remember their fixtures, not to make myself like an idiot. But I suppose Brentford, Ipswich, Fulham, Everton. So next 4 are all right. But then
Yeah.
we're piling through doubles. So like, what are you going to do? You're not going to replace Mateta with him. You're not going to. You're not going to replace. Well, I mean, like Marmoush. No, you're not. You need City, and then Isak. No. So I just don't think he's an option.
No, he's not an option. But Cole Palmer. So this was mine and your first game in a long time without Cole Palmer. I didn't enjoy it. I think people with Cole Palmer, I saw people moaning and saying, I don't know why I bothered, almost type thing of go with him and do that stuff. And I'm like, there's an outside chance I'll bring him in for 32.
Well, just because you're going to free up money from Foden, because you're in a position where
there is still a chance.
I think those with money, I think, can do that.
So I could go like, for example, Gabriel to say like someone like Gabriel to Konza, which gives me the money to go say Foden to Palmer in 32.
Yeah, so that feels massive because obviously we've had the fixtures announced now for 33 and 34. Yeah, it does feel big.
I mean, I'll watch him again this weekend, but one thing I did notice was he wasn't on as many set pieces as I'd like. Cole Palmer, obviously Enzo's taken them all from the left.
Yeah.
Neto took quite a few. He didn't. He took like the first couple from the right, and then suddenly Neto started taking them. And I was like,
his first game back though. I mean, they've been playing. They've been. I know you kind of half want him to be like big dog, right? As soon as he comes back in.
Yeah.
And to be fair, like with Jackson coming back in, I probably was expecting a little bit more from him. I mean, he was fine. Like, he obviously gets the assist and a couple of key passes, 5 crosses. I mean, that's decent volume.
Yeah, the one half decent shot which Vic's saved at the near post was ambitious.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's on my mind. If I felt like I was going to bench boost in 32, then because I literally the only reason I'd bring him in would be if I would bench boost 32. I think.
Yeah.
I think if you're going to because I think if you want to bench boost in 33, you're more going to be looking at, even if you've got Foden, it's either keep Foden and look to replace your Newcastle guys. You've only got so many transfers, haven't you? So you will look at replacing your Newcastle guys with Villa guys probably. Or you bring him in 32, then you don't need as many players in 33.
Yeah.
But we'll work that out later. As for Tottenham, don't go anywhere near
it's a misery for us watching him. So don't what am I trying to say? Don't inflict that kind of pain on yourself. There's no point.
Nah, it's bad enough supporting them. You don't want them in your FPL team.
Exactly.
Like, if you were free hitting in 31, would I go Brennan Johnson this weekend? Yeah, I would. I'd have triple. If
I was free hitting, I'd have triple Spurs. I just would, because it's Southampton.
If I was wildcarding this week and I had a load of free transfers saved up in the bank, Brennan Johnson would be my only punt for this week, because obviously Odebear starts on the right for this game. I would bet he's the only one I'd guarantee would start against Southampton on the weekend is Brennan Johnson. And Brennan Johnson home to Southampton is a really bloody good fixture.
Yeah.
And you'd assume Pedro Porro will start. But hey, I suspect that we'll concede.
I'd still probably have Vic though. I'd probably have Vic on a free hit. Vic, Porro, and Brennan.
Hit. But I think on wildcard, there's still something where you could potentially.
Spurs, Southampton, Wolves, and then try and bin them as quickly as possible. I'm not going to condone it, mate. I'm out for Spurs. Let's just get rid of them.
Fair dues.
This week's games brought to you by RobT, as always. I had a first look at this. I realised my cropping skills have been terrible there because there's Solanke's arm just sticking out there. But my first look at this was like, well, when Spurs top the XG, when we know that we're so bad, I just was like, this is just crap. The whole week's just rubbish.
The whole week's just rubbish.
Just from a clean sheet perspective, it seems like a waste of time. So for people that have obviously got Gabriel, which is everyone, right? And it's like half the game, but it's everyone. But I wouldn't even make the transfer.
I'm amazed at how many people haven't got Gabriel, mate. Like, I think everyone's got it, but they haven't. There's actually a lot of people that just don't have him. Like, he is still only like 50%. Yeah. Even after wildcard, he was 50% owned.
Yeah, I kind of questioned it last week. You talked me off that ledge a little bit. You talked me off that ledge a little bit, didn't you? But and I agree with you, but at the same time, I was a bit sort of more Saliba curious on that. But I think now, would you make a move? Would you move if you had Gabriel? Would you move to a Saliba or Timber, or would you probably in this instance, would you roll a transfer and just wait for more information?
I
It's
just think
tough.
I'd roll it. I just think I'd roll the transfer thing. It is. I don't like the idea of benching Munoz home to Brighton. I know it's only 25% clean sheet, but it's their big derby. Like, I don't know if you saw it, but the Mateta shot late in the first half, and the keeper almost spills it but doesn't. And I was like, who is that right in front of the keeper? And it's Munoz,
It's
like
Munoz.
literally 4 yards out. And I'm like, he can just return. So I don't like the idea of benching
Well,
Munoz.
Mateus Franca scores, right? That's like
Yeah.
his direct replacement actually scores a goal as well.
Yeah.
So the positioning's
So
there.
that's the way they use him. Just don't like it. Don't like it one bit. I don't like the idea of benching a Newcastle defender when they're
No.
playing Leicester. So I don't need it. So it then comes to basically Vardiol versus getting a new defender.
Yeah.
And I'm just not sure that's worth it either.
No. I'm absolutely fine. I'm absolutely fine with Vardiol. I think it's fine.
I think I'd rather wait a week because the money is big. And if you keep that money, then because you are keeping the money obviously in there if you go to Saliba. The other thing to note obviously is that Kirill out bonused him.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'd love to see who actually starts, right? I mean, because we want 3 Arsenal. Like, we're going to need 3 Arsenal. If you're looking to pivot to a Marino or something along those lines, then fine. I would also then hold a transfer, get your transfers up, so you can drop him to say like you've got a Konza, and then
Yeah.
you can upgrade whoever you need to get to that Arsenal mid. But yeah, I would wait just because to get the info on who's going to actually start. I know that substitution was made, but if it is Kirill, then I mean, like,
Yeah.
if it's Kirill, that's just like the cheap option in, and you can just
It is a cheap option in. The other thing is obviously is where do those set pieces go? Now, I've seen a lot of people this week pointing towards they'll definitely go to Saliba. That's how they were. When he was out early in the season, the as much as like Saliba will get the chances, Saliba's not as good as heading as Gabriel. The other beneficiary, the player who played a lot more at that time, and he was playing in midfield, was Marino.
mm,
And I think Gabriel out and Saka back is big for Marino. Like I think suddenly he
he becomes the
becomes
primary target. Yeah,
primary target set pieces, and he looks like he'll play the number 9 because all the time that Martinelli's on it and Saka's on it, you don't need a Trossard as the number 9. You want somebody that's just going to stand there almost and occupy the centre back, so that gives them more room. So I went through his heat map the other day on the pod we did, and he very much played that Havertz role of popping up here, there, everywhere. I think he's firmly in this number 9 spot now. So Marino's one I'm definitely looking at. So Foden to Marino, for example, frees up 3 million for me, and then you can go anywhere.
yeah.
That's me assuming that Foden's just naughty step now, and that's the end of his life. But I'm immediately looking at that money, and then thinking, well, I've got the 3 million quid there. Then I might decide, well, actually, who do I want? I can do whatever I want with the Gabriel money. I'm not so desperate to get it somewhere else. But we're going to look at players like Rashford.
Yeah.
He's definitely on the menu suddenly. Stuff will change. I can see why people were doing it because you're almost like as well trying to keep up with the 31 wildcarders because they'll all put Saliba in their team.
Yes, that's very true.
Would you at the moment, if you were wildcarding 31, would you do Raya, Saliba, and Saka, or would you punt on a double
I
midfield?
would. Yeah, I would. I'd still. I mean, I'd rather just lock in that defense.
And I think people will. And that's why I'm like, I'd actually quite like to hold on because I don't think that many 31ers are going to have Marino.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
That's an opportunity. And Martinelli was proper sharp in that game.
Yeah. I guess the bigger question is going to be around. So we've spoken about, you say, so Palace assets are just like a play. Obviously, Arsenal do what you can. Newcastle, particularly defence, you obviously want to play. Leicester's. I mean, I saw you talking about Leicester. Obviously, Leicester, they put up like 0.08 xG against City. Like they were just literally running around, like watching them play the game. Boomer and Wissa are still quite good. I mean, I don't mind that 1.5 at home to Chelsea. So if you've still got one of those guys, great.
You play
him. Liverpool's interesting because they didn't create anywhere near as much I mean,
No.
I guess there's a bit of game state here, like not just like the scoreline, but the actual game itself being against Everton. Does it worry you in terms of like a Salah captaincy versus like an Isak captaincy?
Yeah, I just think it's for me. I just think it's easy. I think we just go on Isak.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I
We just
agree.
go.
I agree because he's either going to play or he's not. Right. I don't think he's not going to roll him out for 20
Nah,
minutes at the end of the game for Leicester.
exactly. I think you got for me Isak's easy
But
cap for me.
but
on
is there
this one.
anyone would you consider perhaps like a Marmoush vice rather than Salah?
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that too. Is
Like a
I
1.5
actually think
xg? Did he have like 1.5 xg?
yeah,
Marmoush
it
on
feels more
9 shots?
reliable.
Yeah.
9 shots. Like they had about 15 shots total, and 9 of them come from him.
Yeah.
It feels more reliable. like
You can narrative the hell out of this. You can say things like Marmoush is like modelling himself on how Salah has played his career, but except he's playing in the centre in front against a very average abject defence and a poor keeper. And
it's a good point. This I hadn't really given a huge amount of thought to the vice captain, but it's probably more important than we think it is, isn't it?
this
Because
week with
like you
Isak's
say,
injury, yeah, I think so.
if you're capping him, you should give the due diligence to it. And I did say on the video yesterday, I think I will vice captain Marmoush over Salah. So yeah,
I'm contemplating. I'm still contemplating.
are you thinking maybe cap Marmoush?
No. I think Isak. I think Isak would be the one where I am. No, I was just having a quick double check to see what I'd actually put for when we show it in a second.
Yeah, I think I just had it on Salah. I don't think I'd even looked at
it.
it.
Just autopiloted and just went straight into it.
You do. With Liverpool, I just think it was what I noticed is the more they tried to be overload and attack, they got countered for fun by Everton. Every time they tried to overload it, Beto was stretching them like mad. And so then I felt like second half they just went, "We're going to control this. Can't counter us if we just keep the ball."
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, like Everton do that though. They did that against us as well.
But Fulham are good at countering. Like they use
true.
Loads of pace down the wings.
Yeah, this is true.
They cross the ball for fun. They're a good counter team.
It's a question. Why? I mean, like just as a question, like why did Curtis Jones play right back? Was that occasion or was it?
I don't know. I think he might have thought like that was the best opportunity that you can still keep feeding out of right back and use it as a creative position.
I was fuming because I put 3.9 million Kwanzaa in there, and I'm like, where the fuck is he? Has he played like Curtis Jones?
He did say that Kwanzaa played well when he came on. I do wonder if I
mean, I'm
cannot
just hoping...
see a world. I can't see a world where he plays Curtis Jones up against Anthony Robinson. That left side for Fulham's way too good to be playing Curtis Jones on right back.
I just want Kwanzaa for 33 more than anything. Bench boost, like he's there, 3.9 million Liverpool defender. Thanks very much for Leicester.
If he plays,
yeah, that's why I bought him. So hoping that he plays. I think we should move on to teams now, just for conscious of time. I think it's going to be pretty quiet from both of us. So. Yeah, for me, it's a case of drop Gabriel down to. Well, actually, I'll probably play Gabriel. Ooh, nice! I can get some wank.
I was going to ask you that. Are you going to play Gabriel the rest of the season, or as long as you have him?
As long as I have him, yeah. I think as long as I have him, I'll play
Fantastic.
him. And one thing I realised here is I might actually just play Pope instead of Raya. So I go from double Arsenal defence to no Arsenal defence this week, which could be interesting.
Cool.
Would you not? It's Leicester, mate. Like
it's true.
Leicester. Like it's literally Leicester. So
yeah.
I've got.
Especially when you're playing as a defence from Newcastle, I know you'll want double up.
Yeah, double up. Okay, so let's just switch that. This is not going to be the team as such, but let's say so. Pope in goal, okay, and then Burn, Gvardiol, and Munoz the back.
Yeah,
Rodgers. Rodgers was kind of forced because I probably would have played Gabriel over Rodgers. Salah, Sarr, Saka. We didn't really talk about Palace, did we? Well, no, you did earlier on in the week, so that's fine. Isak, captain at the moment. Again, probably going to stay captain. The vice captaincy is the decision. Mateta and Marmoush. I've got 0.4 in the bank. I've got 1 free transfer. I've got wildcard. I do not have wildcard. That's false, isn't it? Neither of us have got wildcard. Let's get rid of those.
Damn it. Can't get another one.
No. Yeah, so I've got bench boost and free hit, which is going to be 33, 34. I'm not set up for 32, so I've no interest in going there, but that's absolutely fine. I'm not going to hold my hat on that. Yeah, I'm just happy just for this week, just not doing anything. And I think that's important after a while. I think that's nice to do after a wild card as well. It's just to take a break and just sit with what you've got. And I think that's
absolutely.
That's a reasonable thing. Yeah, small green arrow this week, so I'm hoping same again next week, and then we can work out what's going on after that. I don't think anything else is really needed. I think Doku will probably just come back onto the bench, and he'll probably be the first. Well, Doku and Gabriel combined. See, that's an interesting one because Gabriel can come down and Doku can become Marino, like quite nicely.
Yeah, similar boat. So Doku, Gabriel to say Konza, Doku to.
The Doku pump was basically pure redemption chasing. Like I really wanted that Leicester game as a fun game, and he did okay, to be fair.
I have been known to state that I hate Ruben Diaz as an FPL pick. I've been known to state that on many occasions. But he is also sneakily in my thoughts.
Is he really? Okay.
Well, only thing is Matheus Nunes plays right back. O'Reilly plays left back. They're both midfielders.
Yeah, it's true.
So for the clean sheet potential, Diaz, Vardio, and Ederson, the only guys getting the clean sheets.
Yeah.
You could, if they get a return of any kind.
Yeah. And you're going to be pretty close on. You're going to be pretty close on bonus. I mean, if Marmoush just sweeps up the 3 bonus every time, then fine. And then you're just chasing for those last 3 points.
I actually thought Diaz was trying more sort of almost like through balls than Vardiol actually the other night. So there is part of me that thinks maybe Gabriel only goes to Ruben Diaz. That's also
you got so much more money than I have, though.
How much do you trust? It's just how much do you trust Villa defence? And I don't trust Villa defence very much at all. I trust the attack though.
Yeah. So your team now?
My team now, so quite a similar position. I will play Raya at Everton rather than Areola home to Bournemouth. Livramento, Munoz, Vardiol, definitely. Saka, Salah, definitely playing. And I'll say the front three, which is Isak, Cap, Mateta, and Marmoush, will definitely play. I then have 2 spots for Sarr, home to Brighton, Murphy, away at Leicester, and Foden, away at Man United.
Oh, Murphy's a lock. Murphy has to be a lock.
It has to be a lock, but he is coming off at like 60 odd minutes. And you're like, but I think that it has to be the lock. So it then becomes Sarr Brighton at home or Foden away at Man United.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
It's tough.
I don't know.
Sarr had no shots, right? He had no shots against Southampton.
I look at it and go, which is the guy that might score 20 points for me this weekend? And it feels like Foden.
Yeah.
And realistically, you need it. Like for me, I'm looking at it now. I'm 68k. I'm 9 points off top 50k. I'm 30 points off top 25k. Like I'm 60 points off of top 10k. If I want to try and like have a very, very good season, it's go time.
When are you triple captaining, by the way? Are you just fitting it in somewhere?
I'm not sure that I now like the idea of an Isak triple captain. I need to see good minutes on Monday night, and hopefully we will because he's going to be my captain. But I'm a little scared about a groin issue with Isak of triple captaining. That's why I was starting to consider maybe I should bench boost in 32 and then leave it open. So Saka potentially. I like Saka as 33.
Look, if City get a double in 36, and with Southampton and Bournemouth, then you just triple cap Marmoush, right?
Exactly, and then so I'm even more inclined to even go, well, maybe I just choose my best bench boot week, but I'm not hugely wedded at the moment to Isak triple cap. I might just wait for that 36 one.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Well, decisions to be made still.
Seems to be made. But yeah, Sarr v Foden. Anyone who watches this in the chat, tell me Sarr or Foden.
Yeah, just drop that in the comments for Baker. It'd be very helpful. And there we go. That's about half an hour. I think it's just over, but hopefully we should be okay. But
we're good.
we're done. We're good. We both got green arrow. Did you get green on the wild card?
No.
Tiny red.
Tiny red.
Tiny red.
65 to 68.
I did see the word mild card. I thought that was that was a nice little dad
Mild
joke.
card. That's nice.
Nice
That's
little dad joke
nice.
flying around.
That is nice.
But yeah, a couple of mild cards from us. But yeah, I guess
Yeah.
we'll leave it there. We'll be back on Sunday as normal. I think
Yeah, we
we're
will.
back on Sunday as normal. But for now, do all the good stuff. Like, comment, subscribe. Have a good one in Game Week 31. And we'll speak to you later. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, well,
Oh.
before you dash
Whoa.
out, I was going to say what we haven't done, which everyone's going to do, is here's my Game Week 31 wildcard draft. We haven't done that because, we're not on wildcard. We're selfish people. But if you have dilemmas, obviously, if you're in a Discord, we'll talk to you about it all day long. If you do drop a comment, we'll do our best.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Could have done that before I did all the spiel, mate. I was on a roll.
I know. I suddenly just thought that we're selfish bastards.
Let's leave it there. Catch you later, mate.
See you later. Bye.